Once upon a time, in a town nestled among rolling hills, lived a family blessed with happiness and unity. Their bond was as strong as the ancient oak that stood tall outside their home, witnessing their joy and sorrow. The family comprised of father Ibrahim, a woman of grace and beauty, Nima, and their 3 wonderful children, Ali Mahmoud and Sarah, each bringing their unique charm to the family tapestry. As the children grew, so did their father's concern for their future. He toiled tirelessly, not just to provide for them, but also to ensure their unity remained unbroken. The town revered him, not just for his hard work, but for his integrity and kindness. He owned a vast, fertile land and a beautiful house filled with warmth and laughter. However, the relentless march of time brought with it a deep sadness. Their father fell gravely ill. Summoning his children to his bedside, his voice, though weak, held an unwavering strength. He spoke to them about life, values, and above all, the importance of their bond. "My sons," he began, "life is a gift from Allah, and our time here is limited. I may leave this world soon, but my love for you will endure." Turning to Mahmoud, he added, "You are the heart of this family, always so giving and kind. Take care of your mother and your siblings. May Allah bless you." He then looked at Sarah, his eyes twinkling with pride. "Sarah, my wise child, your heart is pure and your spirit strong. Be the glue that holds your family together. May Allah grant you wisdom." Finally, his gaze rested on Ali, his eldest son. "Ali, my clever one, you have a brilliant mind. Use it to benefit yourself and others. But remember, knowledge without integrity is like a weapon without a shield." Their father's words echoed in their hearts long after he breathed his last. As the family gathered around the old wooden table in the family house, a house still heavy with the scent of the past and echoes of memories that refused to leave its walls, Ali, the eldest son, sat stiff and stern, his face locked in a frown. He had always been known for his cleverness, but never for his trust in others, for he trusted only himself. Mahmoud, the middle son, sat restless and uncertain, his heart soft, but his eyes too easily drawn to the glitter of wealth and the hunger of greed. Sarah, the youngest, sat quietly with tears glistening, for she had been the closest to their father, and she carried in her heart his last words, his written will, in which he said with his own hand, "Divide what I leave with fairness, for life does not last, and what remains is your love for one another." But as soon as the words of the will were read, the fire of disagreement began to flicker like embers waiting for air. Ali raised his voice, declaring that the land was his by right, for he was the eldest and the most capable of managing it. Mahmoud claimed the house for himself, arguing that he had stayed behind to care for their mother and watch over the home. Sarah pleaded for fairness, insisting that the inheritance must be shared equally, that no one should be favored. Yet her voice was drowned beneath a storm of anger and pride. The first gathering after their father's death turned into a fracture, and what had been a family became 3 strangers, leaving the table with darkened faces and heavy hearts. Days passed before Ali decided to take the matter to court. Without seeking advice, he presented his case before the judge and dragged Mahmoud and Sarah into a dispute they never wished for. The judge, a wise man, listened with patience and finally said that the will was clear but their hearts were not. No paper will save you if you cannot honor each other. No law will help you if you cannot honor your father's intent. Yet his words fell on deaf ears. Mahmoud, in those same days, fell into temptation. A merchant named Hassan approached him with offers of money in exchange for his share, or at least a promise to sell it one day. Mahmoud, weak before the glimmer of coin, agreed in secret and took the money, enjoying for a fleeting moment the false comfort of wealth. Sarah discovered this betrayal and confronted him, only to be crushed by his harsh words. "Dante, you want me to live well? Don't you want me to have my share, like anyone else?" He did not see that what he called his right was the beginning of his downfall. Ali, meanwhile, threw himself into the land. He sowed it with pride, certain that his cleverness would turn it into fortune. But the land demanded more than he could give. He borrowed money, then more, until a drought swept through the region and destroyed the crops. His pride withered with the fields, and soon he was drowning in debt, his cleverness powerless before the cruelty of fate. Mahmoud's house, which he clung to so desperately, grew weaker with each storm until the roof leaked and the walls cracked, and what he thought of as a treasure became a burden. Only Sarah remained steady, caring for their mother, holding on to love as the only inheritance worth keeping. One rainy night, their mother grew ill and her body could no longer carry her. As she lay in Sarah's arms, she whispered her final words. "Tell your brothers that the inheritance is you, not the papers. Do not let your father's will vanish like smoke." Then she closed her eyes and left the world, and Sarah buried her beside their father in the family grave. Neither Ali nor Mahmoud was there, for they were lost in their own struggles. Sarah felt the weight of the family fall entirely on her shoulders, but she did not crumble. The village began to whisper. People spoke of the children who betrayed their father's words, who turned love into conflict. Their names became examples of greed's curse. Elders tried to intervene. Old Abu Yasin, respected by all, sat with his siblings and begged them to reconcile before everything was lost. But they did not listen, for the voices of pride and greed still thundered louder. Then came the darkest of nights. A fire swept through the village. Flames devoured part of Ali's land and licked at Mahmud's house. For the first time in years, the three siblings worked side by side, shouting, running, sweating, their hands united to fight the fire. When at last the blaze died, they collapsed on the blackened earth, surrounded by ashes. Ali whispered, broken. "I thought I was the strongest, but I am the weakest." Mahmud moaned. "I thought wealth would save me, but I have lost everything." And Sarah wept silently, seeing the ruins of all she had tried to hold together. The judge called them once more after the fire. He looked into their tired eyes and said, "Justice is not ink on paper. It is heart reconciled. Your father knew this day would come. That is why he wrote his will. But you refused to listen, and his words struck them like a sword." Still, greed had not fully died. Mahmud married the daughter of a rich merchant, hoping her wealth would rescue him. But she never loved him, and within a few years she betrayed him and left, taking her fortune with her, leaving him penniless. Ali grew old, unmarried and weary, crushed by debts, once proud but now a shadow of the man he thought he was. Only Sarah endured with quiet strength. She opened a small room to teach the children of the village to read and write, and she became beloved, a living memory of her father's wisdom. The merchant Hassan did not miss his chance. He exploited Ali and Mahmoud's weakness and seized most of their property until they were nearly destitute. At last, with nothing left but regret, the three siblings met again after many years. Ali wept before Sarah and confessed, "You were right. We lost everything because of our greed." Mahmud broke down too, admitting his betrayal. Sarah looked at them both and said, "What is gone will never return, but what remains between us is what we must protect." She proposed they rebuild a small home together, a house not of inheritance, but of love. They agreed. Their lives became simple, modest, but peaceful. The villagers saw the change and slowly gave back their respect, saying, "At last, they have honored their father." Even the judge, upon seeing them together, smiled and said, "Justice came late, but it came." Years passed. The siblings grew old, but they never let a single evening pass without gathering together to share memories of their father, their mother, and their childhood laughter. Sarah became their voice of wisdom, reminding them that the gold and the land were never the true inheritance. The inheritance was brotherhood itself, a treasure that endures beyond death. When Ali grew frail, near the end of his life, he wrote a will for his own children. In shaky handwriting, he wrote, "Divide what I leave with fairness. Do not repeat our mistakes." When Sarah read it after his passing, she smiled through her tears, turned to Mahmud and whispered, "This time, we will not fail." For the first time in decades, the siblings felt they had truly understood the meaning of inheritance. Not the paper, not the land, not the gold. The inheritance was brotherhood itself, a treasure that endures beyond death. And so the tale of Ibrahim's children serves as a reminder that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the bonds of love and family. May this story echo in our hearts, urging us to cherish what truly matters.